Right. I think spoiler alert, I guess. There's like Demon Slayer season like 3 or something on my screen or my roommate's screen. Uh I'm watching it right now. I don't want to get spoilers, but um don't look there if you want spoilers, or like close this window. Um I think for like um it's been at least like 3, probably like 2 or 3 years now, where I've been like very conscious of my what the finality of life. Is that fair to say? Um, just the finiteness that life has, right? And in turn, there's been a lot of thought, right? I've thought a lot about what, like, oh, like, oh, what's the meaning of life and blah blah blah, and it was like, oh, what's this and this, which is kind of a fruitless like endeavor to like embark upon, because there's never going to be like a unified meaning of life that applies to everyone everywhere, with with all the different cultures we have on earth, and different genders, sexualities, all that stuff. Like humans are too I think humans are too varied to have a single, like, oh, this is why everybody's here. But you go down that path a little bit more, you get this point where you're like, you think a lot about what motivates you, right? What Not only what gives your life meaning, but what is the thing that pushes you, right? And I think this is a pretty universal experience that college students have, is that you get to college, right? Okay. Living away from my parents. Haven't seen my parents in like 3 weeks. Um, no one's knocking on your door in the morning saying, get up, you have class, or you got school, you gotta wake up, you gotta go to school. No one's I mean, my parents never did this, but you don't have anyone being like, hey, you gotta do your homework, you have this assignment due, you have this assignment due. And sadly, there are people that do still experience that in college, and it's like their parents don't let them go, which is I guess we can look at it like, why is that a bad thing, right? There's I'm taking a philosophy class, blah blah blah. Okay, I'm basically a philosopher now. Not really, but there's I like this kind of framework that one of these writers had, or these philosophers had in their argument. They basically said that, so let's take the pond example, which is when some if you're walking by a pond and it's shallow enough for like an adult person to walk into, no risk of their life, and it's very shallow, but there's a small kid that has fallen in and is now drowning. Everybody agrees universally that, or probably not universally, but the general consensus is that you have an obligation to, a duty. You can word it whatever you want, but you're supposed to go in. You're supposed to sacrifice, your new clothes, your nice clothes. They're stained or ruined because you went into this muddy, murky water. But you're supposed to do it because you have to save the life of the kid, right? Now, one of these writers says that if you don't do that and you walk by and you're like, oh yeah, I just walked by this kid drowning out of a pond and I didn't do anything. She says that we assume that there is something wrong, like just with their character, right? So I think it's kind of similar to the the general reaction would be if like your parents never let you figure out what motivates you, right? Like if your parents were your whole life, like your whole life, as in post college, in college, all that, were like very much like, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do this, giving you the kind of the impulse to go and do stuff, right? What is it called? The catalyst, right? They're your reason to do stuff is because you're being told to do it. So that's like they give you your point to life, okay? And that's what I've been thinking about a lot about, is that now I don't have that. I'm fortunate enough to have parents that I'm not gonna look. I'm fortunate enough to have parents that are very open to me doing different things. They're open to me. They they want the best for me, which is, W mom and dad, right? Like not everyone has that, like I said. And people agree that it's wrong to not let yourself go and find, your point to life and what motivates you. Okay. Establish that, right? Now, I think pretty obviously we can all see where this is going, where I don't know what my point is to life, right? And I still think that the only reason I'm doing, maybe not only, but the biggest part, or like the biggest thing giving me that push to go do stuff is external, right? Let me be completely frank with you guys. I do not really have a lot of motivation, or a lot of, I guess right now, like currently right now, my current state of mind, as in like, today, right? Sure, it ebbs and flows, but I think, to be honest, like generally my last few like weeks, I've just felt a total apathy towards, my classes, my education, my degree, my major, all that stuff, right? Felt a lot of apathy. Okay. And the only thing that's keeping me going to classes is because I've had this routine like ingrained into my like soul pretty much of do good in school, go to class, learn, go to class, do assignments, do homeworks, do this. And that comes from, parents, external pressures of like my family, my extended family, what everyone around me kind of expects me to be is this like, 4.0 GPA student with, that's doing an internship and is smart and, is going to be successful and, make his way in life by being educated and that. And I'll be completely honest. If I wasn't going to class, if I wasn't doing homeworks, if I wasn't doing that, I don't think I have anything better to do. Okay, so I'll just put that out there. But what's concerning to me, and what I wish wasn't the case, is that I was being motivated because from an internal reason, right? My source of motivation, and when I say motivation, I mean just the source of that impulse, that the thing that gets me up, right? The thing that gets me out of bed. The thing that gets me up out of bed right now is I don't want to like disappoint my parents. I don't want to disappoint my family. I don't want to disappoint like even my like old teachers that I had. It feels like I have a certain expectation of me and I want to meet that expectation, and that want to meet the expectation is what is pushing me to go do stuff, right? And I don't know if it's a common feeling. I bet it is, that students have, um, of being like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? I don't even like this class. I mean, again, I don't like engineering. I don't, I don't enjoy any of my classes right now besides philosophy. Like physics, it's just going over my head, and I feel no desire to, like, I've just been doing the very bare minimum to do like the assignments, like the homework assignments, so like my grade doesn't tank, because like again, like I don't have anything better to do. It probably is not bad. It doesn't hurt me to have good grades in these classes, but I don't like. I mean, I just like do the homeworks and that's it. I don't like try and like I don't feel I'm lost, right? I'll just say that. Like I'm like lost in like probably like computer science, math, and physics, right? No clue what's going on. Math class right now we're learning about like triple integrals, um and like I have an idea of what's happening, but it's like weird with like how to solve for the bounds. And I'm sure that if I sat down for like an hour, right, and was just like, let me watch like a organic chemistry tutor video, do a couple Khan Academy exercises, sit down, rewatch the video, like the notes, right? I'm sure I could figure it out and learn it. But I I don't have any pull towards it, which is scary to me because my whole life I've been at least first of all, I'll say that most of my life, the bulk of the impulse has been parents, right? Outside pressures. But I always had a little bit, okay? And when I say a little bit, I think that this is like probably one of the keys to my academic success was that I had a little bit of want to from the inside of like I kind of want to know what's happening. I kind of want to learn. I think it's kind of cool. And there could be a multitude of reasons why now I don't feel like I have that want to learn. It could be, now it's actually hard to learn and like it's never been hard for me to learn. So now it's like I'm hitting my first roadblock after, you know, I'm hitting like my first wave after smooth sailing for 12 years. That could totally be a reason why now I'm like, oh, fuck this, I don't even want to learn. But to give myself credit, I feel like I have some resilience. Like I've learned before when I didn't want to, or I've learned before when it was hard. But right now, I'm having the most amount of freedom I've ever had, and this freedom of like this like this just kind of infinite freedom is so it's just making me realize that this is not what I want to do. Okay, like college is, I mean, the probability or like the chance that I don't get a college degree are pretty low, right? The only like reason I could see myself not finishing my college degree is I I spiral, right? That'd be scary. Like, this apathy builds and eventually it gets to a point where I don't even feel motivated to do any of my homeworks or study for tests and blah blah blah, and I flunk out, which I don't think that would happen because I think there's still enough outside external pressure for me to get a degree, right? But the other hand would be if I somehow was able to, you know, finagle some income and drop out, which I don't think is pretty low. So yeah, like I'm probably gonna get a degree, right? Okay. Now, what degree am I gonna get is the real question because right now I don't feel I don't feel like the odds of me graduating with a degree in mechanical engineering are very high. And I keep on telling myself it's like it's supposed to be hard, right? Like it's meant to be hard, right? It is like I don't know, mechanical engineering is at least like top five hardest degrees. Probably hardest degrees are like mechanical, electrical, chemical, and like marketing and communications. I bet. No, I'm just kidding. Um, but the engineering degrees are like probably up there with like difficulty, and it's supposed to be hard. That's why it's hard right now for me. But I feel like it wouldn't be hard if I was motivated and if I wanted to learn. I like wasn't. I just didn't have this emptiness. I had no drive, right? And I'm just fuck, bro. And I keep on asking people around me like, "What's your purpose?" Right? What's the point? What makes you get up in the morning? And they're like, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. And I'm astounded, right? Like, first of all, I'm not gonna sit here like be like, yeah, I'm so much more aware and stuff of these other people because I don't know, right? I'm asking because I want to get some ideas of maybe what gets other people out of bed is going to get me out of bed. But it seems like the most people, I'm sure there are some people that feel a lot of actual internal drive to do this stuff in college. I think it's a lot. Like once, I see a lot of people, every person doing a club or running this or that, they like want to do it. It's like something they want to do. They're spending their extra free time to do stuff. But I think that currently, at least the people I've talked to, and I think definitely like freshman year, when you're like finding yourself, you don't know really what's motivating you, and instead you're just going through the motions of what you've done for the past 12 years. You just go to class, do your homework, do this, and you hope you stumble across or not even hope, you either stumble upon what you want to do. Well, see, this might be a pessimistic outlook. I think that there are. I just don't know what the numbers are, but I know there are some students that do know what they want to do, are motivated, are doing their things. But I think that there's also another camp of kids that are very like, are kind of like me, where like they don't really know what they're doing and they're just going through the motions. And I'm scared of that as well, because it's just, when you're just going through the motions, right? You're not living really. You're kind of just, okay, I'm gonna get up and walk to class and eat lunch, and then I'm gonna go to my next class, and then I'm gonna go home, and then I'm gonna doom scroll for like 45 minutes, and then I'm gonna get up and do my homework, and then I'm gonna take a shower, and then I'm gonna go get dinner, and then I'm gonna come back home, do a little bit more homework, and I'm gonna go to sleep. Like that day, like that, right? Just goes by, boom, 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 day gone, weeks gone, months gone, semester over, winter break, do jack shit, boom. It's the second semester, and the second semester goes by just as fast, and before you know it, it's been a year, and you don't know what happened, and you're like, well, what the fuck? How did a year go by? And like I started off this video of how aware and how I'm not scared of death. Maybe I am. I'm scared of not living, I think, is, maybe that's cliche to say, but I think it's true. I think I'll die happy and I'll die unafraid if I feel like I've actually lived a very fulfilled and purpose-driven life. And I know that not being aware of what my purpose is and only working off of external factors like a freaking robot is how those days slip by, and the days turn into weeks, the weeks turns into months, the months turn into years are decades, and decades is a career, and then a career is a lifetime, and you die and you look back and you're just like, maybe like I'm sitting in retirement, got like 10 good years left, and I sit there, you know, in like an easy chair in my middle class home with and hopefully like a loving wife, and I sit there and I go, wait a minute, what just happened? It felt like yesterday where I was in my dorm room, next to my roommate while he's watching Demon Slayer, and I sit there and I'm just like, where did it all go? Where did my life go? Why did this have to happen to me? And by then I'll sit there and be like, I'm like, I'm 65 or whatever, can barely move the dang ligaments, and I got nothing to live for, and I just realized I wasted my life, right? I think I would then be super afraid of death. Or maybe then I'd just die with some like, with just like indignation. Is that the right word? Correct me if I'm wrong. But I'll just sit there and be like, oh, it happens, man. I think I'll die defeated, and I don't want that to happen. So what do you do? Or what am I supposed to do? Well, figure out my purpose, which is easier said than done, because I've been thinking about this for years of like, what is my purpose? What is the meaning? What's the point? What is the catalyst, right? What gets me up in the bed? What gets me out of my bed in the morning? Right now, I barely get out of bed. I'm going to be honest. Like, I wake up to my dang ass fuck ass alarm, and I'm like, okay, it's what time is it? And then I doom scroll for like 15 minutes. I'm looking at the clock and I'm like, fuck. It's like, and then it's, 15 minutes till or like, it'll be like 30 minutes before my class, 25, 20, 15. And I'll be like, okay, God, fine. I'll get up. And I get up and then brush my teeth really fast, put on my clothes, put on my backpack, walk out the door, speed walk, because I don't want to be late to my class, and sit in my class. I'm tired as shit. Don't learn, retain, or do anything in that class, in any of my first classes. I'm just like trying not to fall asleep. I copy down some notes and head off to my next class or go to the gym, and that's it. And I don't know it's such a sad existence. And I don't know if I was like doing a different degree, maybe and like I was like going on a class that I was more engaged in, maybe that would make me feel more fulfilled, um, or make me get up with a little bit more, you know, what zing in my step, or is it, or am I looking at things too macro, right? Like maybe the reason I'm getting up and I just feel dead is because I didn't sleep well. I mean, pretty micro reason there, but that's probably the actual like physiological reason is because I'm just not sleeping enough or not getting a good enough quality of sleep. But bigger picture, right? Besides the whole sleep analogy, I think it's scary that these days can just slipping by, and I'm telling you, like it does not feel like it's been like this is my 8th week, so after this week, it's been 2 months. Really, 2 months like that? Boom. And I feel no. First of all, I think I don't feel any connection to the school yet. Or I feel a connection to the school, but I don't feel any connection within the school. I mean, if I'm like completely honest, I barely like, I'm friendly with people in my classes, but I barely have like, no, not even barely. I don't know why I'm exaggerating. I have like nobody. I only hang out with like my roommate and like my brother sometimes, and like one other friend, and it's just like, well, this kind of sucks. And I don't know if I'm alone or lonely. I think that there's a difference there. Alone is like a choice. Lonely is a state where you don't want to be in. I don't really necessarily feel very lonely, I think. I say that as I'm talking to myself, but I mean, I'm a lone wolf. No, I mean, I don't I don't feel like I've ever struggled or like I'm not sure. I definitely struggled with loneliness in my life, but I don't think I really currently have any like I don't like walk around feeling sad that I'm not walking with someone. But who knows? Maybe that's one of the reasons why I'm feeling the days slip by because I'm not spending. I'm kind of just I don't have anything else to do, right? Besides just do the motions. But that's a you know that's a different. I don't know. Not a different problem. I think it's all the same thing. I think life is a little bit too complex to boil it down to like a few different things and compartmentalize all that stuff. I think it's all interconnected, but who knows? Um, yeah, I think freedom is scary. I think, this weekend, I climbed a mountain, which I recorded and I'll make a video about it, but I'll be sidebar. Some of the freaking, like, there was like no audio on some clips and there's nothing at the top because honestly, the hike was ass. The view was shit. The drive was fun. And yeah, that was it because it was only fun because I was with friends that from like high school and that was fun, right? Like fucking around with your friends. And it was funny like at the top when we like realized how shit the hike was and how shit the view was because it was like a cloudy day. It was just looking at like a couple hills because it was like one peak and everything surrounded by like a bunch of hills. And yeah, but we were like it was yeah. And while I was doing it, it felt very freeing to have no responsibilities or not no, 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 not even that. It felt very freeing to be in a super linear position. Okay, like I didn't have freedom, right? There was one task the whole day was to go to a mountain and walk up it, climb up it, and then climb down. That was it, right? Super simple. Okay. Now I think it's weighing on me when I'm and it felt very relieving to have this like just little snippet of life before, you know, like the whole world unlocked, right? You know, and it was very stress relieving. It was very chill. Didn't feel any like nothing, no burden was on me. It was just climb a mountain, do it, and that's it. Oh, you're done. Nice. But now I'm walking around. It's like, you know, you have to go to class, but so it's like apply for internships, work on my little like side hustle that I'm doing right now. Do your homework, go eat, go eat. Even that's like a little thing you have to do. And these little things that I have to do, like not even, I'm wording it wrong. Just the fact that there's so much to do and it feels like I have to do all of it to live a full life, I think is taking away, right? It's not helpful. It's not indicative of me actually finding what I actually want to do by trying to fill my day up with a bunch of things because I feel like I have to because everyone else is doing them. That's bad. I should be filling my day up with things that I actually want to do. But I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what's going to motivate me. I don't know what's going to push me to live a fulfilled life. And also, I don't know what living a fulfilled life even feels like because I've never done it. But I know that I'm going to look back on my deathbed. I'm going to look back and be like, did I live a fulfilled life? Am I going to die a full person? Or am I going to die some shell of a human that just did the motions and that just sat there and lived? And I want to die with all the achievements unlocked. I want to die fulfilled. And right now, I know that I'm not on the path to fulfillment. Um, and now this might seem super meta and super like freaking removed from any substance. And I think a lot of people would be like, "I'll just shut up and put your head down, do the work, and figure it out later." I think that those are the people that are too afraid to acknowledge that their lives are not fulfilled and that they want to just keep on moving and running and running and racing. They want to keep on going. They want to keep on moving. They want to keep on progressing to what they don't know. And they don't know what they're pushing for. They don't know what they're working for. They don't know what they're headed to. They don't know what they're living for, right? And that's the problem. And that those people, I think, are going to have a lot of regrets. And maybe they can live in La La Land forever and say, you know what, I, I had, 40 great years doing X, Y, and Z, and I made this many money, right? And it's like, end of the day, like, yeah, if that's enough to fulfill you, fair enough, you win, okay? But I think the people that are fulfilled by that were kind of conned into believing that that's what is supposed to fulfill them, and they bought it and they won and they feel fulfilled. They feel some sort of fake fulfillment and they die happy. And they, lived happily with the wool on their eyes. Now, I'm not saying I'm like some guru that knows more about the universe or whatever and that I'm like better than those people. I envy them, but I think I'm too far gone. On I'm just no not no. I hate framing myself as someone who is like a fountain of knowledge. I'm not. I'm just someone living a life. But I feel like I'm aware. I think I'm too aware of the fact that I'm just too. How do I describe this? I've gone down a certain. You can't. Your life is. You can't ever remove something from your life, right? You can't unless you get like dementia, God forbid. Um, but like you can't ever really take away something. And I think that I've learned or I've been aware of the fact that these very um these like things like monetary possessions and a big box to live in and a cool car to drive, sure, they might give you happiness, but the level of happiness and the quality of happiness might not. All right. All right, okay, bro. I ran out of storage on my phone. But anyways, what was I was saying is I'm gonna have to wrap this up fast, or else I'm gonna lose storage again, and then it's gonna wow. Okay, I'm aware. I'm I'm too far gone down that path of like I know that just merely having a bunch of money is not gonna give me fulfillment. Okay, and I can't go back. And I wish I could. I wish I could go back and just be like, okay, and I'm gonna make money doing X, Y, Z, and boom, it's gonna be money, and I'll be happy and I'll be fulfilled. I think I said earlier how like I think that those people have a lessened version of fulfillment or a false like a quasi form of fulfillment. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But end of the day, they they feel what they believe is fulfillment and you know good for them. Okay. So again, what do? I have no fucking idea. But I just know that, at least I think, I just, I wish that I could go back, right, to just being ignorant. Like, they say ignorance is bliss. They're right. And as a kid, you hear ignorance is bliss. First of all, for a really long time, I didn't know what either bliss or ignorance was. But when I learned what they were, I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. That's cool. And I was like, my initial reaction is, I don't want to be ignorant. I want to know the real things. I want to be aware of the truth and aware of the things, right? And be like, I don't want to be ignorant because blah, blah, blah. But people who are ignorant are blissful. And that bliss and that happiness is real, okay? Happiness is like a chemical in your brain, if you really want to boil it down to that. And those people who are ignorant, who are unaware of, again, I don't want to say like greater things in life, but just aware of, like, it's like if you have a perfect relationship with a girl, right? Or a man, or whatever you want. And they're the most perfect partner in the whole world. They take care of you, they're nice to you, kind to you, hear you out, great listener, do fun activities with you, have similar hobbies, everything, right? They're perfect. And you have a wonderful relationship. Do you really want to know that they cheated on you, like, during the first like 3 months, and y'all are like 10 years into a relationship and nothing else has happened since then? But do you want to know that they cheated on you? A lot of people are going to say yes, because I want someone that's loyal, right? But if you don't know, she is loyal, okay? And in your mind, she's loyal, okay? Doesn't matter what the objective truth is. Your perception is that she's a loyal partner. And those people who, live in that ignorance are blissful. And I wish that I could have that, because I feel like I sit here and I overthink about stupid things that I know are stupid, but I can't stop thinking about them. And I waste a lot of time and energy considering questions that no one else seems to be thinking about. And I feel like, I think I feel lonely there. I think I feel isolated in me thinking about these things. And maybe I'm not. And maybe, like, a lot of other people are also thinking them. But it feels it's scary, because it's like, this is my life and I'm thinking about these things that to me are super important to my life. And it seems like no one else around me is doing the same thing. Um, yeah, I don't know. I wish I could go back. I wish I could put the wool over my eyes again and just be like, and just have blind faith that if I do X, Y, and Z and do what I was told and do what everyone's telling me, I'm gonna live a happy life, right? When in actuality, think I don't think that's gonna happen nowadays, because I don't what I believe a happy life is not what I'll get if I do what everyone is telling me to do. And I don't know. I think that life is, the more and more I think about it, I have a lot of thoughts about it. And maybe life is all it is just trying to maximize your happiness, and that's all. Even then, it would have been easier for me to maximize happiness if I just, you know, was let's just say not academically gifted, and I just sat in class, didn't do anything, and just watched YouTube while the teacher talked, and I would have had total happiness. Like, felt would have been so high, and I could have just lived in my mom's basement and lived a happy life. But first of all, I was just too good at school. That's again such a such a elitist thing to say, and but whatever. And it's true. It's like, I wish that I don't want to say I wish I was dumb, but I feel like I wish that it was just that that these thoughts never had to cross my mind, because once they're in there, they're in there. And because, like, it would have just been so easy to be happy, right? But again, maybe perhaps Mills was right that there are higher forms of happiness and that I can feel those higher forms of happiness. I just have to get to them, and then I'll be even more happy than that person. But I have an internalized reaction to that of like, I don't think it's just being happy. I think it's about experiencing stuff and just being able to say like, look, man, if you have like a scrapbook of your life, to have a very full scrapbook with a lot of pictures and a lot of stories and a lot of check boxes checked of where you went, what you did, who you met, who you were with, and regardless of if they're happy or not, right? I think, I think I really, not I think, I know I really want to just, I want to experience like the world, right? Like I think I won't be fulfilled if I spend my whole life doing stuff I never cared about, obviously. And I think that if I just spent my whole life doing the same things over and over again, that's why the days blend together, because you do the same thing over and over again. And, days feel like a day feels like an hour, and just a week feels like a day. It's like stuff goes by really fast because you're not experiencing new things. So I really want to experience a lot of different new things consistently. I also just want to be fulfilled. I don't know what's that I don't know what that is. My only solution is that I need, funnily enough, I need more freedom, because I feel very trapped right now. Like I said, I have freedom to choose, right? I have freedom to not go to class. I can skip class, which I have. I've skipped my like calculus lecture because it's I'm too tired in the morning to go do it and like learn. So I just learn from the notes by myself by watching the videos. But anyways, right? I can choose not to go. I can choose to attend. I can choose to go to the gym. I can choose not to go to the gym. I can choose what to do here. I can divvy up my time however I want. But I don't have freedom to like, go to a different country tomorrow. I don't have freedom to do any of that. I don't have freedom, those larger freedoms. And to me right now, currently in my current state of mind, it seems that the only way to gain those freedoms is to get money and use money as use money's utility by allowing myself to gain more experiences, gain new experiences, go to new places, have more freedom. And yeah, but I don't know. I don't know if that's going to make me fulfilled. I don't know if that's going to solve my issues, my problems. I don't think it will, but I think it would make it easier maybe. I don't know. I guess I'm just lost right now, and yeah, that's all I can say is that I'm lost. I don't know what's happening. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think I don't know. I think I'll just conclude here. Just to reiterate very quickly, I'm lost. I don't know what's driving me to get. I know what's driving me to get out of bed. It's routine, right? It's the ingrained nature of who I am, of getting good grades, going to class, and learning. That's probably it's one of the things at the very core of who I am, right? Since I was a kid, that's what I've been doing. And then also like external pressures from other people of our external expectations. Okay, fair. Besides that, that's what's getting me out. But I don't have, okay. I know I know what's motivating me right now. But I don't have an internal motivation. I don't have an internal reason. I don't have an internal purpose to my life. That's what I'm missing, okay? And I need that. I need it, okay? Because if you don't have that, you're bound to live a okay, if you are aware that you don't have an internal purpose, you are bound to live an unfulfilled life. Okay? You're going to die in your bed knowing you didn't reap all that life has to sow. Wait, did that make sense? Let me know in the comments. But you're not going to reap everything that life has, right? Has to give. Yeah, not sow. Sow is like just reap what I sow. I guess sow is like grow, and so I don't know. I'm not a linguist, but anyways, I think it's extremely scary not to have that internal purpose, because I think that at least the day is just going boom, 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 day over, or year over. Anyways, yeah, I think very clear cut what I have to do is figure out my purpose. Finding my purpose is not as clear cut, but you know, at least I'm aware. I think again about that whole like ignorance is bliss thing. I wish I wasn't aware, to be honest, but I am, and I can't take that awareness away. So I think I have to just suck it up and continue to try and find my path. But it's hard when it feels like what angers me, right? I think I've been very prone to kind of flashes of anger recently. I think it comes from a place of not having control, right? Of being feeling like I'm forced, right? I'm not forced, but feeling like I have to spend my time on stuff I don't want to do. Again, I don't have anything better to do, so it's not like I could be doing something that's like super impactful and I'm like really want to do, and it's just like I'm being forced to do something else. But it just feels like I just know that it's not what my I just know it's not what I want to do, right? It's such a first world problem that I get this opportunity, to be like, God, I'm studying at a college and I'm not doing what I want. It's like so many people don't even ever get to step foot into a school, let alone higher education. So I'm I know this is a first world problem, but I think I think it's relevant. I think it's what my problem is. So I don't have I don't have a good excuse, but I think it's something important that should be considered. Yeah, I don't have a. I wish I could just say, boom, what my purpose is, but yeah, if I would have to put a guess on it right now, I think my purpose, or the thing that would motivate me the most, is helping others. Now that sounds quite cliche, and you say, "Oh, Malik, be a doctor or something." I don't want to be a doctor. Um, I don't think I could either, but I think maybe not help others. I just want to live a good life and generate good for other people. And when I say that, I mean I want to do something that is tangible and leave something good for people, right? And that generates value for a lot of people. That's like my dream, I guess. But I just don't know what steps to take for that. I also don't know if that's really what I want to do. Or I also don't have time to do that because it's being taken up by my responsibilities. Um, yeah, okay. I don't really have anything else to say. Like, comment, subscribe, and let me know if comment down below if you have a purpose, and if you do, let me know what that is. Also, comment down below if you don't have a purpose, and let me know what you think it is, what your purpose could be. But yeah, see you guys later. I'm gonna try and make that video about climbing that shitty ass mountain. Um, yeah, I'll try and splice something up soon. But yeah, peace out, guys.